Woodson and the Oakland Raiders.
To the players, reality is one against one, move and counter move. One on one.
That's probably the ultimate challenge out there on the football field, is being out there on that island. It's you and him.
It is intercepted by Charles Woodson.
One on one. Here, cunning and speed determine the victor. One on one.
You get beat on the play, then you got beat. You can't point the finger and say nothing to anybody. It was you that got beat.
One on one. The battle where the loser bleeds alone on an open field. Move and counter move.
I'm feeling that like he's at a disadvantage because he's out there playing against me.
One on one.
I just feel like I have to stop this guy. There's no other alternative.
In the battle of the teams, tonight holds great opportunity for both Oakland and Seattle. The winner moves 3-1 and makes an early season statement in the AFC West. The Raiders kick. Both clubs 2-1. There is Napoleon Kaufman, who's been sharing time at the starting tailback spot, and his numbers on the year. This is a bitter rivalry which has gone down in significance of late because neither team has won very much. Things have changed this year. Calvin Branch runs into his own man. Swarmed under at the 23. The Raider offense is in the hands of Rich Ganon, signed to be the starter and playing like it. He's the 4th highest rated passer in the conference. The backs are Wheatley and Ritchie. The receivers, Tim Brown off to a great start, 22 catches, 3rd in the NFL. Jet and Dudley the tight end. Up front, a good mix of experience and youth with Collins, Wisniewski, Barrett Robbins, now the 2nd highest paid center in the league, DiNapoli and Kennedy. And now Zach Crockett comes out as the starting running back. He's been out with a foot injury the entire preseason. Play action by Ganon. Sidearms and dropped. Terry Mickens had it in his hands and couldn't hold it. Here's Seattle's big play defense on the line. Sinclair, Adams, Cortez Kennedy playing like a kid again. 2.5 sacks, 2nd on the team in tackles, along with Daniels. At linebacker, Smith, Simmons, the Pro Bowler Chad Brown, and every down player who has been the team's leading tackler the last 2 years. In the secondary, Sean Springs' speed and cover skills got him to the Pro Bowl last year. Willie Williams, the other corner at safety, Darrell Williams, and Bellamy. Now Wheatley is in. He's number 47. Ganon to throw again. Under pressure. Sidearms it to Brown, but it's knocked away by Smith.
You know, a guy, Joe, that's really turned almost his whole life around is Cortez Kennedy. He lost a lot of weight, and he is playing well. Watch number 96, Cortez Kennedy. His pressure up the... I mean, these guys, the 2 defensive linemen, the guys in the middle, you talked about those guys, George, Adams and Kennedy. I don't know how they're going to stop them.
You have to wonder if either team will be able to move the ball tonight. Ganon steps up, got it to Ritchie in the flat. He's got a first down, forced out of bounds past the 40. John Ritchie.
I think you asked the question. You wonder how they're going to be able to move the ball. I think that both teams will be able to move the ball if they involve their backs, as John Gruden did on this one. Ritchie slides out in the back. Good protection. The Seahawks decide not to blitz. They play zone. Ganon steps up, does a nice job, has his backs available. That's Ritchie's 8th catch of the year. So know that the backs are involved in this offense.
That's Ganon's 3rd sidearm throw.
Well, you get it there anyway.
Yeah, right. Ritchie drafted more as a blocking back as a fullback, but he has just got his 8th pass of the season. Napoleon Kaufman, as they're playing musical chairs with tailbacks, he's hit at the line of scrimmage and stuffed. Sam Adams makes the tackle. They have one star after another on this defensive unit.
Sam Adams, Paul mentioned it. You got Sam Adams and Cortez Kennedy. That's Big Sam. He's just going to blow on in and make the play. You can't move him. He is an immovable object. He just plays off the block, and he's right there. You cannot just work on stalemating those 2 tackles because there is no
No, I was thinking about you get ready to cut back. Cortez Kennedy sitting there waiting on him.
Ganon in the flat to Kaufman. Napoleon Kaufman appears to have a first down. Chad Brown took him out of bounds. The only success they have had so far is in the flat.
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing that you have to be careful of, and Jay Bellamy did the right thing. He forced Kaufman to the outside. With Kaufman out there, you cannot let him get open. You've got to make sure that you either force him to the boundary out of bounds or to tackle.
Especially on this surface when his quicks become so much of an advantage.
Wheatley back in as the deep man in the eye. Tyrone Wheatley. Driving tacklers forward to the 35, and this is not the guy that was in New York for 4 years. He was so deep in the Giants' doghouse, he could have had his own dish.
Tyrone Wheatley has really resurrected a career. He's happy again. But watch the way he's running. He's downhill. Now, Bellamy comes up to make the hit, and it can't stop him. And Wisniewski's just moving along with him.
Wheatley. Nice block by Ritchie, and Wheatley to the 30. Wheatley, after 4 unproductive years with the Giants, was released, or traded actually, and went to Miami, was released there. But he said he found his love for the game again in Miami. Even when he was cut, he said he didn't think it was the end of the world because there are 31 flavors in the NFL, and if he's got to try them all, he will. He's going to find a place to play. He may have found it right here.
Well, he says, I don't want anybody else to come in here. This is my job now.
Well, they wanted to get someone else to share the load with Napoleon Kaufman because he got beaten up pretty badly last year. 2nd and 5. Wheatley going to be a workhorse. Gaping hole. Wheatley down the sideline inside the 10. 1st and goal.
Little things make Tim Brown an all-pro wide receiver. He does a terrific job of blocking downfield for Tyrone Wheatley. What a terrific job up front also. You get the double team on Sam. Number 98, Sam Adams, gets pushed aside. Then Wheatley gets in the open field. You see the guy on the ground? That's Tim Brown knocking down Sean Springs. Watch this.
235-pound back who can run. Wheatley again. Smash mouth. Touchdown. They came out throwing, then they go to the ground, and Wheatley eats them up. 4 carries, 47 yards in the score.
There are 2 excellent blocks here. One by Barrett Adams on Cortez Kennedy. Barrett Adams, and that's Robin, excuse me, that's the center, number 63. Now look at this block. But look at 40 going up into the hole, making the hole for Wheatley to get there. There goes the center, his block on Cortez. Ritchie goes through the hole, and Wheatley just follows him in.
Oh, beautiful series of running plays. Wheatley had running room on every one of them. Michael Husted for the point after. The Raiders on fire early on the ground. They lead it 7-0. West Airlines aerial cam high above Seattle, Washington for our Sunday night football game here in Seattle. Amon Green and Kerry Joseph are deep to receive. Amon Green with blazing speed takes it out to the 30-yard line. Brought down by Kenny Shedd for the Raiders. For Seattle's offense, John Kitna is the quarterback, rated as the number 2 passer in the AFC. Only a pair of touchdowns, but no interceptions. Ricky Waters leads the ground game, 3rd in the AFC in rushing. He starts with Brown, Pritchard, Mays, and Fourier, the tight end. The offensive line, Jones, Kendall, Kevin Glover, still one of the best, Habib and Williams. Waters will get the first carry. That Raider defense up front, Harris, Maryland, Darrell Russell, who was incredibly quick to rush the passer and the size to stuff the run along with Johnstone. The linebackers, Williams, Beekert, and Richard Harvey, who made 20 plays behind the line of scrimmage last year, more than any linebacker in the league. The secondary strong with Woods in the corner, the league's defensive rookie of the year last year, highlighting the secondary. Kitna had it knocked loose Harris came in, swatted at it, and it looks like the Seahawks got it back.
Boy, when you know quarterbacks are going to come out and try to do bootlegs and roll out, and you got defensive ends, you're taught one thing. You stay out first to make sure you go upfield. Look at Harris goes upfield and then reaches in and swats the ball away. That's just great defense.
And it would also be important when Kitna gets in traffic. You see, he only has one hand on the ball. When he gets pressure like that, he's got to get that other one on to protect it. Willie Shaw's got his front guys go for the quarterback in a hurry.
3rd and 9 for Kitna and the Seahawks. Under pressure, throwing out of the middle of the pocket, incomplete. Flag is down. Dawkins got a hand on it. Couldn't hold it, but he may have been interfered with. Bernie Kukar will check it out for us. And it will be a first down on the interference.
It's going to be real important that the wide receivers of the Seattle Seahawks win the one-on-one battles if they want to be able to throw the football. Willie Shaw is going to go after John Kitna, and he's going to make him complete the ball to the wide receivers. Of course, if they interfere, that's a little bit of a plus to help the offense.
Willie Shaw has done as good a job as a defensive coordinator has ever done in this league. The transformation of this defense.
21 defense, first down.
Eric Allen gets the call on him covering Sean Dawkins. Dawkins works inside. Now Allen's in his hip pocket. If you're going to grab that off arm, the officials are going to throw the flag. That's a good call.
Pritchard is in as a wide receiver. Draw play. Across midfield goes Reggie Brown, the fullback, before he is mauled and thrown back.
Well, the guy that mauled him is Eric Turner, number 29. He's the free safety. And he's one of those guys, if he sees someone sitting up there and you've got him standing up, he's going to take that shot. And he just finishes it off.
He brings a lot of lumber at 215, too.
Oh. Well, I mean, it really is nice to see these guys hit. Eric Turner, watch number 29. Now, there you see the ball carrier, Rick Waters stand up in the air. Now, watch this. Here comes to the end. Bam! It just takes the whole pile back.
Seattle going with 3 wide receivers on 2nd and 6. Getting in trouble. Somehow he got it off to Waters. Harvey had dead aim at the quarterback, John Kitna. He had the presence of mind to get the ball down there. And at the end of the play, there is a flag down as both of these teams are already wolfing at each other. Was pushing one of the defenders.
Personal foul, 32 offense. Unnecessary roughness, 15 yards, still second down.
So on back. That's a good point. Kitna under pressure again. Got away, throwing on a run. ESPN Sunday Night Football continues next week with a black and blue battle in Lambeau.
Was in a struggle at Minnesota today.
But I hope Sapp is back, though. He didn't play today.
3rd and 7. Pressure again on Kitna. John Kitna is doing a magnificent job just to stay upright. He got that one to Pritchard.
Joe, you know, we talked at the beginning of this show tonight. The West Coast offense really depends on its quarterback's play.
Have to do. You don't get style points for what a pass looks like.
Waters, nowhere to go on the outside. Richard Harvey helped to wrap him up. He was released just before the start of the season last year by New Orleans and was another former Willie Shaw player who he brought in to shore up this defense. He said, he had a great line. He said, you want a lot of ants, a lot of workers. There were too many roaches here, and they got rid of the roaches because the roaches will run when the light shines on them.
And he says, and you don't know what direction they're going to go
right.
in, but you know the ants will go in the line.
He's got a lot of worker ants right now. Play to Waters on 2nd and 11. High stepping his way inside the 30. Close to a first down.
You know, Joe, when we looked at these two defensive tackles on both of these teams, we wonder why you're going to be, or how you're going to be able to run up the middle. Well, the easiest way to do it is to people. Now look it. They double team Russell Maryland up in the middle. They single block.
And Kevin Glover does
Darryl Russell.
And Kevin Glover does an excellent job of staying with the block to open the hole up for Ricky, who runs with patience.
3rd and a yard. They've got first down, another big hole up the middle.
Style of his offense.
This will be the 10th play of the drive. Getting under pressure. Screen to Waters. Ricky Waters to the 12. And again, John Kitna really feeling the heat and responding beautifully.
Well, what they're doing is they're covering everybody on the outside. All of the wide receivers are covered, and it's almost like you're forgetting Ricky Waters.
But Ricky's got to get his head around quickly. This is a quick screen. Kitna comes back. He gets his head around quicker because last week in the game, he didn't get his head around quick enough, and he wound up fumbling the ball.
Well, take a look at downfield. This is a screen all the way, but these guys, look at the guys that are covering downfield. You've got all of your defensive backs away from the running back, and you've got a linebacker trying to take him.
Kitna, who is 4 for 4 for 38 yards, wants to talk to Mike Holmgren. The play clock was running down. Waters and Brown, the running backs behind Kitna. Ricky Waters running hard, pushed out of bounds at the 6.
We talked about this being a new offense for a lot of the guys on the Seattle Seahawks. Kitna, his wide receivers. One guy who's very familiar with Mike Holmgren in this offense is Ricky Waters. And he's really provided a lot of leadership for Mike in helping everybody get comfortable in this offense.
Waters has already gained 26 yards on the ground here in the first quarter. And the Seahawks inside the 20 have been horrid in getting touchdowns.
Illegal substitution by Seattle.
Had too many guys in the
Illegal
huddle.
substitution, offense, too many men in the huddle. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
See, the whole deal isn't really that difficult. You know, see, if 3 come on, 3 have to go up.
Yeah, but it is difficult when you got a new coach and you've got all these different packages. Between Holmgren and Gruden, there's about 300 plays on these sheets these guys have, and they will call a lot of them.
All right, let me repeat. When 3 go, come on, 3 go up.
Okay. It's a little over my head.
2nd and 8, they spread the field with 4 wide receivers. Kitna against the blitz and throws it away. John Kitna has not been able to go back and set his feet once.
Well, they sent the linebackers. Beekert, number 54, came right up the middle.
That'll bring up a 3rd and 8.
See, I think in a case like this, you want to get a little more protection. I'd look for the tight end. Fourier, the tight end, is a guy who can make a play for him.
He's the man in motion. Kitna for the end zone, intended for Pritchard, but it was actually closer to Eric Allen.
I love the call, Joe, and I agree with you 100%. There's only one other problem with that. You got to have time to find him.
You're right.
I mean, when you don't have time to find him, we've been watching Kitna. I mean, go back 2-3 steps and they just fire. He doesn't have time.
Well, I think what you're seeing, what you really see in the first quarter of this game is the Raiders have been in this offense for a year. The Seahawks, it's new to them, and really the offensive line are the ones that are being affected the most.
Todd Peterson from 28 yards and drills it. Both teams score on their opening possession. The Raiders get a touchdown. The Seahawks have to settle for a field goal.
Teacher fast track, rising, and he really knew he wasn't going to keep him long.
Ray Rhodes, when he was with Philadelphia, called him a genius flat out. Napoleon Kaufman on the return. Outside. Kaufman. There's a marker down. Napoleon Kaufman takes it all the way. We'll check the flag. 95 yards.
Coming back. Coming back.
What a beautiful return.
You made
Holding, 53 on the return, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Travian Smith called for a holding penalty. It turns out to be an 87-yard flag, negating the touchdown. Travian Smith, whose penalty canceled a 95-yard touchdown return.
You just can't get your arms away from your body. Watch what Travian does. Look at his left arm. It's on the outside of James Logan, and then he pulls him down. And then he gets emphatic on the sideline and says, it wasn't me.
Yes, it was you. It was you, and I'm going to tell you, tomorrow when you look at the film, you're going to see it was you, and they're all going to tell you again it was you.
Wheatley and Ritchie are the backs. Tyrone Wheatley, another big hole, and he rips through it past the 20.
And for the fourth time, they double Sam Adams. Nice job by Tyrone Wheatley, just being patient and following his blocks. Watch the double team. Now, this is the first drive. You see Sam Adams, number 98. He gets doubled on the right by DiNapoli. Then all of a sudden, it's Lincoln Kennedy again. There you go. This time, now you get doubled by Robbins and DiNapoli. That's what they did on the first play from scrimmage in this drive.
Zach Crockett checks in. Ganon to throw. James Jett. Blinding speed, knocked out of bounds across the 35 at the 37.
Well, we all know one thing, that everybody on Seattle's defensive secondary is they're aware of where Tim Brown is. Now, after saying that, you better be aware of where this guy is, number 82 Jett, because he has jets and he can catch the football. And Rich Ganon loves to throw to him.
He's only averaging 22 yards of reception, too.
Oh.
That ought to get your attention a little bit.
He has world-class speed. Springs is going with Tim Brown wherever he goes. And Napoleon Kaufman is in at running back. Everybody getting a shot. Kaufman. They're killing that right side. And what you have to understand is if you're double teaming somebody, that leaves someone else open to make a play, and they're not making the play.
Sam Adams goes by the play, but then
Wheatley is back in on 2nd and 4. Lowers his head, fights for extra yardage, and about a yard shy of a first. Adams was in on the tackle that time. It was interesting to see Wheatley own up to his part in the mess that he was in New York. When he was drafted, George Young, the general manager, wanted him. The coach at that time, Dan Reeves, wanted Sean Salam, so he didn't come in under the best circumstances, and said then his part came into it because he had a real bad attitude and didn't work very hard when he knew he wasn't wanted. But they want him here, and they're wanting him more and more every time he carries the football. Crockett. Push the pile far enough for a first down. Across our 1st and 10 goal line.
John Gruden talked to us yesterday about one of the specific areas he wanted to improve this football team was in 3rd and short and goal line short yardage situations. And that's exactly what he's done with the addition of Zach Crockett and the addition of Tyrone Wheatley. He's got himself some big backs that can pound it in, and if they have to run over one of the smaller guys, they can do it. I've always felt like this is a terrific opportunity on the field to try and take a shot.
Ganon under pressure. The first sack, they got him back at the 47. Michael Sinclair, who led the NFL a year ago with 16.5, gets his 2nd of 1999. And that brings the first quarter to an end with the Raiders leading the Seahawks 7-3 here in Seattle. 7-3 as we get ready to start the second quarter here in Seattle. A surprisingly good offensive game considering the quality of these two defensive units. Wheatley is in at tailback on 2nd and 11. Wheatley with a carry. Turns it outside. Across midfield. All-Pro Tim Brown, who came in 3rd in the NFL in catches, has not had a ball thrown to him yet, and part of that reason must be Springs, who is such a great corner, and Sean Springs will follow Tim Brown wherever he goes tonight.
And Sean Springs talked about the fact that Tim, with 12 years in the league, he doesn't feel like he can run by him, so he's going to play him real close, try and get a hand on him, and if the ball goes to him, he feels like he has the makeup speed to go get it.
3rd and 5. Gannon under pressure, caught by Brown. That time he was covered by Williams, and Rich Gannon, just before he got crushed, completed it.
When you get a receiver that is being bumped like Tim Brown has been, what you do, and this is a terrific job by John Gruden, you move him. Watch this. Brown comes in motion. Springs can't get with him, turns him over across the field, and that's just a sensational catch. Reaches back and makes a play.
I'll tell you, because Ganon was getting hammered by Daniels and Adams.
Tim Brown, in his 12th year, figures to make the Pro Bowl again. Wheatley. One of the reasons the Raiders have turned their fortunes around is the arrival of Rich Gannon. This guy, considered a career backup, even though he had won in Minnesota and won in Kansas City, has been cast off everywhere he played. But this kid can play. I think all three of us are convinced of that.
Well, you know, at 12 years old, and we're talking to him yesterday, Joe, he doesn't complain. He said, now, it took me 12 years, I have found a home.
Wheatley stacked up this time before he reached the 20-yard line.
Defensively, especially in the front, Seattle's going to have to make some type of an adjustment, because every running play, Jim Lynn, who doesn't have the title of defensive coordinator with the passing of Fritz Sermer, he's in charge of linebackers and calling the signals. He's going to have to do something to help Sam Adams out, because every running play starts with a double team of Sam Adams. And you were right, Paul. Some of those other guys being single block going to have to make some plays.
3rd and 3. Gannon sidearms it to Brown, and Brown to the 11 for a first down. Smith cut his legs out from under him.
You guys don't have to keep saying sidearm. You can just say throw it. Some people throw with the arm down a little lower.
How far down?
I'm not being critical, just descriptive.
Here it is. Take a look at it. You think that's sidearm?
Creative.
Creative throwing?
Creative throwing.
After 12 years, I guess you can do that.
That's right.
There is so much about Rich Gannon that is like Doug Flutie. They are both winners. They are both leaders. They get it done however they have to get it done. Crockett. Everybody in that backfield is running hard.
You know what I like about what Rich Gannon told us yesterday? We sat for quite a while with him, and he just said, I'm here. I know what my role is. If I see things I don't like, I'm going to put my foot down, and I'm going to say something. I'm going to be boisterous about it.
One of the other things I liked in our conversation was when he was in Kansas City, he heard all these terrible things about the Raiders. Then all of a sudden he left Kansas City, wound up in Oakland. He said, you know, it wasn't quite the way the picture was painted for me when I was in Kansas City.
Wheatley is in on 2nd and 5. They can get a first down at the 1. Gannon play action. Poor throw that time.
I was looking in the end zone. When Gannon rolled out, it looked like a bunch. I mean, like Dudley, the tight end.
This will be the 14th play of the drive that's taken almost 7.5 minutes. Touchdown to Brown. Rich Gannon bought enough time so Tim Brown could get open, and he hit him.
You said Ray Rhodes called John Gruden a genius. This is a terrific call. Again, he continues to move Tim Brown. He goes across the formation. He missed by the linebacker. Darren Smith can't get a hand on him. Tim finds a soft spot in the belly of the defense, and Richie, again, creatively flicks it out to him.
And when you run a pattern like that, it takes time to get across the field, and Gannon bought that extra time. Husted for the point after, and the Raiders with an explosive offensive first half, lead at 14-3. Back to the Kingdom for the kickoff after this.
Going forward without him.
Joseph more on Galloway in a second. Amon Green back with Joseph. He gets it and dumped inside the 20. Here's what Joey Galloway says on why the Seahawks offer isn't good enough to sign.
People don't quite understand that, yeah, 7 years, $35 million sounds like a lot of money. It depends on how that money is given to you. You know, if you look at the other deals that are done, you know, Freeman did a $25 million deal with $10 million up front. Now, that's guaranteed money. You know, in this sport, you know, because it can be over at any time, and that money is not guaranteed, the guaranteed money that you really want to focus on.
I'll tell you one thing, Mike. I don't care how you give it to me, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s. I'll take it. $37 million.
Getting the throw on first down. That one's incomplete, knocked away by Woodson, intended for Pritchard. And there's a late flag. Woodson came over the top. And it will be interference.
Pass interference, 24 defense. First down.
Charles Woodson loves to peek at quarterbacks. There's Willie Brown, his mentor, wears the same number. See him look in? He wants to see what's going on. He keeps one arm on Pritchard, and then he just sort of grabs him with the left, grabs him with the right. And really, when the ball's in the air, he feels like he's an offensive player.
We'll talk about blanket coverage. He ran the pattern just like Pritchard did. Waters on the draw. Hit and dropped. We also asked Joey Galloway on his future and present situation.
I would rather be in Seattle. You know, I think that I'm trying to sign a long-term deal to stay in Seattle. But if that does not work out, which, you know, it may not, then, you know, I would love to go play somewhere else. Right now, I feel very comfortable here. You know, I'm in Columbus. I'm around friends and family. I'm fine sitting out. You know, like I said, football is important to me, but it's not everything to me. I'm fine if I have to sit out the year.
Brian Habib, the starting right guard for Seattle, was injured and walked slowly off the field. Kitna is back to throw, has time this time, and throws intended for Fourier, incomplete. The one thing that Joey Galloway has to remember is whether it's his intention or not, he has angered a lot of his teammates, and certainly the local fans and the local press have been getting on him, questioning his heart and his willingness to play in this offense.
Yeah, but if he came back and did well, all would be forgiven.
Sure.
And you know, part of the way I feel about it is Joey Galloway is a talent. Now, does he want to work that hard? He hasn't proven that, and I don't think he deserves the money that Antonio Freeman deserves. But I would love to see him in this offense. I'm disappointed we don't get to see what he might be able to do.
Kitna wants the screen. And Mealy, the backup tight end, makes the catch.
I'll tell you, Mealy makes the catch, but let me just tell you about a guy number 52, Richard Harvey. He saves a first down. He doesn't make the tackle, but he sure commits himself and makes Mealy cut back to the inside. You talk about sacrificing your body. Watch 52, Harvey. Here he comes. He's going to get whacked, but he made Mealy go back to the inside, and when he does that, he doesn't make the first down.
So Seattle will have to punt it away. Jeff Fiegels comes on. And he'll be kicking to Darian Gordon, who has the best punt return average of anybody that's ever played this game. There is a marker down back at the 44-yard line.
Ball out of bounds at the 21-yard line. And penalty flag down on the field.
Ineligible man downfield. Seattle, and it looks like
ineligible member of the kicking team, number 51 downfield. Penalty is declined. First down.
Anthony Simmons, the guilty party, but it's waved off. Back after this. ESPN Sunday Night Football is brought to you by Wrangler Real Comfortable Jeans. Was that Paul's?
That's Paul's little sailboat. Very little.
Ganon got it out to Dudley, and the tight end gets it to the 27-yard line. Sean Springs made the tackle.
Rich Ganon wanted to work to the right side to Jeremy Brigham, and he goes all the way back across the field to Ricky Dudley. He just has total command of what to do in this offense, and so much of that is the teaching of Paul Hackett when he was in Kansas City with Hackett.
Hitting 70% today, 63% on the season. Wheatley. This guy's running like a freight train going downhill.
Well, when you look at Wheatley, you know, most backs you can unload on him. Tyrone Wheatley has decided in this part of his career, I'm going to unload on other people. Now, Anthony Simmons is a linebacker that's going to make a play on him. Watch Wheatley. Watch him unload. bang, right here. With his shoulder, he unloads, and then he picks up 3 more yards.
Wheatley playing with a bad shoulder, has 10 carries for 77 yards. Kaufman comes in. Napoleon Kaufman. They really have a rhythm going, changing up their running backs. It's the National Hockey League, Tuesday at 7:30 on ESPN2. The Detroit Red Wings against the Stanley Cup champion Dallas Stars. And at 10:30, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim take on the Phoenix Coyotes. ESPN and ABC, your exclusive networks of the National Hockey League.
Coyote and a duck.
Usually,
you got to think the
Coyotes
going to win.
Got a little bit of an advantage in that one, wouldn't you think?
The Raiders have spent a timeout. Oakland has already rushed for 105 yards as a team. Above Seattle, Washington for ESPN's Sunday Night Football. 1st and 10 Raiders. They have moved the ball beautifully all night long. Kaufman shakes one tackle, but Seattle gets a lot of help. Bounty, number 99, was the man who messed up the timing of the play, and then Jay Bellamy came in to clean it up.
There's Al Davis, the architect of the Raiders forever. It's interesting when you talk about when you hear the Raider name mentioned this year in particular. Don't hear Al Davis's name mentioned as much. You're talking about the job that his football players are doing, and I'm sure that's the way he wants it.
Zach Crockett is in on 2nd and short. Ganon to throw. Plenty of time. That throws behind his receiver. It's still going to be a 1st down. James Jett made the catch. Now they're saying incomplete.
It's going to be 3rd down.
Oh, 3rd down. You're right.
And about 9. No, you talk about Al Davis. Just remember one thing. In 1956, when I went to the, I actually made him what he is today.
You were the one.
That's
your response.
You made him rich?
No.
Not at the Citadel, you did.
But
did you help Mike and I do that?
I'll tell you, he gave me the greatest opportunity of my life. He did. He took me to the Citadel, and from then on, we've been great friends.
4 wide receivers on 3rd and 9. Comes the blitz. Screen to Kaufman. What a great call. Kaufman to the 34. Beautifully executed for 20 yards.
John Gruden has what Mike Holmgren doesn't on his offense, and that's speed. That's where Joey Galloway has really missed in Seattle. A guy like Napoleon Kaufman and James Jett. It's, again, that quick screen. Ganon goes back, looks, feels the pressure. Linemen do a good job of picking out somebody, and then he just runs away, runs through Cortez. Bellamy has to make the tackle.
Wheatley comes back in behind John Ritchie, who now goes out on the wing. Wheatley inside the 30 to about the 29-yard line. Another thing on Al Davis, the other coaches that preceded John Gruden, you always had the feeling, and there was a lot of evidence, that they were not in very much control over personnel or what they were going to do. John Gruden must be a master at convincing people he knows what he's doing because he has been given that latitude.
I don't think John Gruden is concerned about whether he's out there and it makes Al Davis happy. John Gruden is out to win football games with his football team, and if he's upset with it, that's unfortunate. I think that's the biggest difference.
Well, that's going to make Al very happy. Wheatley again, markers are down, and Wheatley picks up a couple. Al Davis was very public last year. The changes need to be made in this ball club, and Gruden's done it. And this will be a hold. The first holding call against the Raiders tonight. They were flagged for 6 last
Holding,
week.
76 offense. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Steve Wisniewski, the Pro Bowl guard.
You know, it's really amazing the number of holding penalties that this team has gone through, the Raiders, on running plays. I mean, when you're blocking on run, which all these offensive linemen love to do, you pretty much have your way with the defensive guy.
2nd and 15. And that's a poor pass behind the tight end Jeremy Brigham. They really like this kid. An excellent blocker with very soft hands. He's playing a lot in 2 tight end sets along with Ricky Dudley.
on where you are on the field in a situation like this, you'd say, okay, do we try and get the first down? You get it underneath about a 7-yard completion, probably to maybe one of the tight ends, and let them pick it up. I think you work the middle of the football field. This is a double zone. If you look at the safeties are back, the corners are up.
Only a 3-man rush. Too high, incomplete. That was intended for Wheatley, and Darren Smith, the closest guy to it.
This is the perfect call. You're absolutely right. Wheatley is going to catch the ball about 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage. The linebackers are off about 8. He probably would not have made the first down. Would have been at least in field goal range.
He doesn't get out quick enough. That's something he's going to have to learn as he gets more comfortable in this offense. It's check and go quicker.
Araguz will come on to punt. Charlie Rogers is back, who took one all the way last week, 94 yards for a touchdown. Probably won't have an opportunity on this one. Fair catch signal made at the 11. 28-yard punt, but perfectly placed at the 11-yard line for no return. Back after this. Great corners of all time. He is squad development coach, and we still haven't figured out what that one is. The Raiders like to do that, but he has been a mentor to Charles Woodson, who wears his number 24. And Woodson said last night, he says, just go out there and choke that receiver.
That's the instructions that Willie gives him.
Yes, that's what he did.
Choke him.
Kittner with protection this time. Waters, one-hand catch. Ricky Waters to the 36. Gain of 24.
The Raiders, I don't think the Raiders can afford to lay back. I think Willie Shaw made a little bit of a strategic change in his philosophy. He wants to put pressure on Kittner. This time he backs off a little. It allows Ricky Waters. Ricky will come to the left part of your screen, comes out in the zone, makes the reception, and turns upfield. I think you got to go after Kittner.
Flags down. Play is blown dead.
When I watched Kittner that time, hello, patience.
86 offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Christian Fourier, the tight end, moved early.
Well, these are the things that they just drive coaches nuts. You end up picking up a first down, you're behind, you want to do some things right, and then you got a guy that moves.
Sounds like it affects you a little bit adversely, too.
Well, it does. I mean, these are that you're not supposed to be making in the pros.
The third flag against the Seattle offense here in the first half of play. Kittner right this one, and it's dropped at midfield. Looked like it should have been caught by Dawkins, but he couldn't come up with it.
Well, Dawkins saw some people flying by. Richard Harvey happened to be one of those guys that was flying by, number 52. You've got to concentrate on the ball. Look where this ball is thrown. Down low, Dawkins, there's the ball. But that was Harvey going by with that arm. That'll frighten you a little bit.
Now, those are the kind of catches you have to make. In a game like this, your receivers have to make those kind of catches for you. Get you out of a big hole. Now, all of a sudden, the defense has a distinct advantage on 15.
That would have been a first down. Kittner's had much better protection. Quickly to Fourier. Shy of the 40. It'll bring up third and about 7. Richard Harvey made another tackle. And they are not throwing the ball to Charles Woodson. One, if my memory is correct, and that was an interference call.
And he's really playing the defensive left side or the offensive right side of the field. Now, they'll throw that way as long as it's to a tight end or a back or underneath him.
Well, yeah. What I like is what Kittner said to us yesterday. We're going to go there, and he says, you better be sure of what you're doing when you go over to him.
Here comes the blitz. Hit as he throws. Incomplete. Allen nearly had the interception. It was intended for Dawkins. It's hard to fault John Kittner. He has been rushed so very hard in this first half.
And that's part of the depth that this defensive line has. Tony Bryant puts a lot of pressure on him inside. The one time they went zone, he had a chance to get off. There's Eric Allen. He sits and squats, tries to read it. Now, Dawkins would have been open if he had time.
Seagulls to punt to Darian Gordon. Another terrific acquisition by this squad. Gordon from the 13, nowhere to go. Terry Joseph with a solid tackle, a loss of 4 on the return after a punt of 47. Seahawks down 14-3 late second quarter. 14-3 Raiders with 2:05 to go in the half. Joe?
In a situation like this, you want to try and work the middle of the football field because there's so much to defend.
Wheatley, the deep man in the eye. And Wheatley will get the carry. He works the middle, but Darren Smith helps stuff him. And we have reached the 2-minute warning here in Seattle. Beautiful Mount Rainier. Just one of the many attractions here in the great Northwest. Back in a moment. Coming up at halftime, Chris Berman in the Toyota Halftime Report. He'll bring you the fastest 3 minutes in television, all the highlights, the National League playoff picture, and we'll take a last look at McGuire and Sosa as they take the home run battle down to the wire. 2nd and 9. Ganon under pressure from Sinclair. Tried to get it to Richie, almost did.
Boy, I'll tell you, Chad Brown, we have really not mentioned his name all night long. Michael Sinclair is again trying to run a bootleg out to his side. He makes a force upfield, and then Chad Brown covers Richie. But look at Michael Sinclair. They move him inside, but he also, look at him cheat back outside because he knows he's got outside containment. Here comes Ganon. He forces him to throw the ball, and then Chad Brown just really makes a nice play on Richie. Right there, number 94.
Plenty of time to go in the half, and it's 3rd and 9. Seattle can stop him here. Draw play, Kaufman does not get the first down, stopped at the 17-yard line, and Seattle will use a timeout. There's also a flag down.
Going to be holding against the Raiders. It's that little shovel pass. Mo Collins, number 79, the left tackle.
Holding, 79 offense. Penalty is declined, 4th down.
They'll make them kick on 4th down. And that'll give Charlie Rogers a chance to get Seattle some good field position. And John Gruden obviously not very happy.
Come on. That's the way it comes into a meeting. Come on.
Bark at everybody.
Number 31, Charlie Rogers.
Joseph goes back with Rogers, who is the NFL leader in punt returns after that 94-yarder last week.
And Charlie Rogers was brought in to replace Joey Galloway, who was actually return punts for him last year.
Araguz, poor kick, shanked it out of bounds. Let's see where they mark it. It will be well inside the 50. Monday Night Countdown tomorrow night at 7. Mike Tirico, Tom Jackson, and Sterling Sharp with all the latest news around the league. Then at 9, it's ABC's Monday Night Football. Doug Flutie and the Buffalo Bills head to Miami to face Dan Marino and the Dolphins.
Do not miss that game.
ESPN and ABC, your exclusive networks for primetime NFL football, and I'm sure Alan Boomer will have a ball with that one. Seattle with excellent field position. A minute 43 on the clock. A chance to get back into the game before halftime. Waters out. Beaker just drilled him. Grady Jackson was also right there.
I think Kitna's got to get his ball up to the line of scrimmage and work the middle of the football field. Stay away from the corners. The biggest space you're going to have and the best space you're going to have is right in the middle.
There was a mistake on a timeout earlier. Seattle has all 3. Fourier fighting for extra yards, gets to the 44. And Seattle will use a timeout, and Woodson came up and threw a punch. What a terrible play at this stage.
It's the one thing I talked about earlier. That's the job of these coaches, keeping these guys with cool heads in critical situations in the game. Now automatically the least that Seattle is going to be in is field goal range.
If he throws a punch, they could throw him out of the game.
Yes, sir.
He just really pushed him in the back.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, 24 defense, 1st down.
Maybe this is one of the deals he learned from Willie.
I don't think so.
Go choke him. But
Willie
I don't
said
either.
choke him, not hit him.
Yeah, don't make these mistakes. These are really dumb mistakes.
Now he's trying to hold Fourier down here, and Fourier I didn't see anything Fourier did.
Well, all Woodson did was just shove him because he caught the ball and he tackled him.
John's not happy about that one. That's one of those mental errors you talked about getting upset about. There's one you can get upset about.
Already within Peterson's field goal range. Pritchard went in, Kitna threw out.
Unfamiliar with the system, not being able to read and understand the receivers. The quarterback sees one thing. In this offense, the receivers have to see the same thing as the quarterback. In that case, Mike Pritchard didn't. He came back for the first time last week, so they really haven't had a chance to work together a lot.
The Seahawks have yet to score an offensive touchdown in the first half this year. Kitna on the run and incomplete, intended for Derek Mays off his fingertips. Woodson was right there.
I still think the place to work is in the middle of the football field. Charles Woodson wants to see what's going on. He'll check the quarterback, then he focuses on Mays, and then he just breaks on the ball, and if that's lower, you have to go make a tackle.
Well, you know what they say about Woodson and Springs, Sean Springs, is here are guys that you know, you think you've got them beaten, but with their quickness and their speed, they can recover.
My feeling has always been as a quarterback, if you see a receiver open, he's covered. If by the time you let it go, somebody's going to be there.
Big third down for Seattle. Here comes the blitz. Kitna with good protection. Mays, touchdown! He beat the safety, Eric Turner, as Joe said, right down the middle of the field.
Holmgren wanted to go for two.
A two-point conversion would cut the lead to 3.
This is where they could use one of their timeouts also.
A strike from Kitna, who got great blocking on the play. And Mays gets his second touchdown catch of the year. They'll go for 2. Healy is in as the second tight end. He's playing to the right side. Kitna with a fade to Dawkins, and he couldn't catch it.
Sean Dawkins let the ball come to him down in the end zone. You have to try and go up and make a play. He's got a height advantage on Eric Allen. You got 6'4" up against 5'10". He's got to try and go up and snatch it through the air. Here's the two-point conversion. Look, instead of waiting for it to come to him, he's got to go up and make a play on it. Now here, this is the touchdown. What's going to happen is you're going to see him go, you're going to see Mays go here, here, and back to the middle. He's going to beat Eric Turner. Allen backs off. There's the one move. There's back inside. Terrific protection to give him a chance to work the double move.
Well, and you have to credit this offensive line. Just look what they do. They get everybody cleared out of the way in order to throw the ball. Walter Jones makes an excellent block, just knocking the defender down.
Derek Mays with the score, the first offensive points they put on the boards in the first half this year. And then they should have had the two-point conversion, a perfect throw from Kitna.
Derek Mays was one of those guys when Mike Holmgren made the deal for him. Derek called up Mike and said, "Are you sure you want me here?" And the reason why was when Mike Holmgren had Derek Mays in Green Bay, he used to ride the living daylights out of him.
Still does.
There's a look of disgust.
Branch and Kaufman are deep. Kaufman slips a couple of tackles, not a third, stopped at the 16. The Raiders with 54 seconds and 1 timeout left. Kerry Joseph, who's had a nice night on special teams, made that tackle.
I think it's important in this situation that the Raiders be aggressive and at least try to get a first down, because the Seahawks have all 3 of their timeouts left. They can't sit on this clock. They're going to have to try and pick up some first downs and move the ball down the field. And I think they have to take the same approach. Work the middle of the football field. Look at it. You've got to work inside these numbers because they're going to cover outside.
Wheatley, the tailback. Wheatley behind Richie. Sinclair makes the tackle at the 20-yard line. We talked about the importance of the quarterback in the West Coast offense. Which one would play better? Right now, it's pretty much of a toss-up, isn't it? They both played very, very well.
Well, there's one other thing. You said to take a timeout. Have 3 timeouts, the Seahawks, and we're 50-some seconds to play. Obviously, the Raiders are going to run the ball up the middle. Why not use them and get yourself in field position again?
I don't understand, Paul. There were 54 seconds left, and you're going to, take your timeouts to the house with you.
Wheatley again. Cut down at the 25-yard line. And apparently Seattle will be content to have the momentum going into halftime. That's the end of the first half. The score, the Raiders 14, the Seahawks 9. Now let's join Chris Berman for the Toyota halftime report. Mike Holmgren matching wits with John Gruden, and so far Gruden has the edge on his mentor. Taken it to 10 by Joseph. Take a look at the first half stats. The West Coast offense not normally known for its rushing yards, but look at what the Raiders racked up. 124 on the ground. And 229 to 141 in total advantage after a half. Neither team with a turnover.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. You look at that Raiders deal, though, and look at both of them. 50% with Seattle. That third down conversion, 6 out of 8 for Oakland. Not bad.
Kitna. Incomplete. Allen with coverage on Pritchard. Let's go to Solomon Wilcots.
At halftime, I talked to Mike Holmgren. He says the reason why his offense was able to score a touchdown in the first half was due to the play of his quarterback, Kitna. He says he's performing very well against the Raiders' blitzing defense. He wants better protection out of his offensive line. When I asked him about his defensive unit, he says we haven't stopped them yet. Mike?
They certainly haven't stopped the trio of running backs, Solomon. 3 wide receiver set. Ricky Waters, a flag goes down as Waters crosses the 30.
Well, there's a case of Darrell Russell just clogging up the middle and forcing Ricky to go someplace he didn't want to go. Still couldn't.
Holding, 79 offense. 10-yard penalty, still second down.
Williams called for the hold. He's playing for the injured Todd Weiner at right tackle. House Ballard retired just after preseason ended, so Weiner took over at right tackle. He's hurt tonight, so Williams, the 4th-year man out of Louisiana Tech, gets the start. Back at the 22nd and 20 for Seattle. Here comes the rush. Kitna with a man in his face, and it's picked off. Thrown right down the middle, grabbed by Turner. To the 15, where Kitna makes the tackle. That time, the rush made Kitna throw it up for grabs.
Russell Maryland, I'm going to tell you, they had a deal in the middle of the line, and Russell Maryland, number 67, wasn't even slowed down. Here comes Russell Maryland. Look at the deal inside. Russell goes inside. Russell Maryland comes outside, and there's nobody to block him. He's in Kitna's face. Interception.
I really think in a case like that, you've got to give an assist to Darrell Russell. Kitna just hangs this thing up in the middle. Christian Fourier is supposed to be the receiver, and he's nowhere near it.
First turnover of the ball game. Wheatley. He's nailed this time as Sam Adams hit him and Cortez Kennedy helped out. Turner, that was more like a punt than anything else, and he got his 2nd interception of the season.
That's one of the, can almost fair catch it. Free kick.
We talked about those tackles at the beginning of the game. Russell Maryland just pouring in. He and Darrell Russell, what a tandem up front. 2nd and 9. Gannon under pressure. Dumps it off, and Wheatley inside the 10 to about the 8.
The best way to describe Rich Gannon, and you see John Kitna thinking about the throw and saying, I shouldn't have done it, is he's resourceful when he gets rid of the football. This is just a little push ball. I mean, he's had this thing come out. That's just a little push. That's end over end. Here, you get it. Get it in the hands of the receivers. That's the key to this offense.
It will be 3rd and a yard, and Crockett comes in. Out since July with a broken foot, ready to go tonight. Lowers his head, and Crockett runs hard to the 5. It's a first down.
Oh, John Ritchie, number 40, is the guy that Crockett followed. And John Ritchie is a fullback, knowing when he goes to the hole, he's going to make some resistance. Watch number 40. I mean, this guy, and it's what he loves to do. He's going to come right at you. Look at 40. Bam! He hits the linebacker, Anthony Simmons, and then there's the first down by Crockett.
1st and goal. The Raiders showing a lot of power football tonight. Wheatley again behind Ritchie. Picked up a couple. Sinclair and Brown in on the stop. You talk about Ritchie as a blocker. This guy isn't quite on the bubble. He loves Jimi Hendrix, went to his grave and ate the grass clippings off the grave. He said he was living in the moment.
And he has a guitar in his room, and I asked him on the field in warm-ups, I said, have you been out to Jimi Hendrix place? He says, no, I've been there, I've done that.
Well, once you've eaten grass clippings, it's time to go on to something else. Gannon on the roll. Trouble, and does the smart thing and throws it away. Matt LeBounty was putting the pressure on him.
Are the 2 guys that you try and get the ball to down in this situation.
Gannon's only hit 1 of his last 5. They come out in a tight formation. Gannon, touchdown. He got Dudley. The coverage looked great. Somehow he got it in there.
Well, I'll tell you, here is a guy you talk about has really improved his game, is Ricky Dudley. And this pass was absolutely perfect. Chad Brown was all over number 83, Ricky Dudley. And this pass is right, the only place that it could be caught. Look at Chad Brown pushing and pushing. The ball's down low. As he turns, the ball is there. Gannon's looking at Dudley the entire way. Look where the ball's put. Below, away.
That's a sensational throw by Rich Gannon. Houston for the point after. Ricky Dudley with the touchdown catch, his 2nd of the year. It was set up by the pressure of Russell that forced the interception. 11:24 to go, 3rd quarter. Raiders have taken a 21-9 lead. Green and Joseph are deep for the kick. Amon Green, the speedster from the 3. Takes it to the 25-yard line and ridden down there. ESPN Sunday Night Football continues next week with a black and blue battle in Lambeau. Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers host Warren Sapp and the Tampa Bay Bucks. Join Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, and me right after prime time at 8:15 Eastern. Reggie White's jersey will be retired at halftime of that game. We will bring it to you a special night at Lambeau Field. Water for the short carry. Russell Maryland on the tackle. John Kitna really living a dream. Raised in Tacoma, Washington, just down the road from Seattle. His wife Jennifer at the ball game tonight, along with his folks Martin and Faye Kitna. He went to Central Washington primarily as a baseball player and was noticed there by former coach Dennis Erickson because his nephew was on the team. Came out as an undrafted free agent, made the club, and now he is the starter. Pritchard can't get it. Eric Allen got right in his face. Turner came over to help. The coverage by this secondary has been sensational.
I just like what Kitna said about this place here. I mean, the guy is just such a solid guy, and when you talk to him, you understand him. He's not awed by anything, but he would like, knowing this is going to be the last time this year they're going to play here, he'd like to send him out of here is just screaming and yelling.
Which is one thing they haven't been able to do tonight, and that really is the advantage of the Raiders because communication is so important. You can't call plays, you can't get defensive signals out.
Here's his mother, Faye, watching her son face a 3rd and long. Fitness stands in the pocket, throws to Pritchard, first down at the 48-yard line.
I really feel like that's the place that they're going to have to go after it. They're going to have to work the middle of the football field. I don't think you're going to have a lot of success outside the numbers. So you get to concentrate. Pritchard works down, slides down again. The zone by the Raiders. Every time the Raiders go to zone, they end up with a hole in the middle. That time, Darian Gordon just dropped back, and Pritchard came right around behind him.
So they keep it going on a 3rd and long. Getting with a screen to Waters. Beekert got through 2 blockers and made the tackle. That's a sensational play by Beekert.
Tackled by Greg Beekert.
You know, Beekert has made some tackles tonight, but the thing about Beekert is if you're going to run a screen and his man is Ricky Waters, you better block. Someone better block him.
It's a guy who has always been underrated, I think. He's a solid middle linebacker, exceptional against the run. And now that they've got that tackle tandem up front to keep people off of him, he's able to run free.
I'll tell you, it's amazing how fast Darrell Russell gets off the ball.
Waters, stutter step, Harvey with the tackle in the backfield. This Raider defense under Willie Shaw, these guys have a chance to make a statement. They're #1 against the run this year, giving up only 53 yards a game.
Well, you know, the reason that they are is because of 2 big guys up in the middle. Russell, Maryland, and Darrell Russell. These guys get off the ball so quickly.
And don't forget, now they just make a change. You bring in a Grady Jackson, number 90, and a Chuck Osborne, 98. They've got tackles who can rotate in now on 3rd down and making a difference. And then you've got the corners. Kidner's going to have to get the ball off quick and work the middle of the field.
There it is, knocked away as Allen came over the top of Dawkins, and they'll call that interference, and Allen says what?
Good call by the official. Sean Dawkins runs a quick post. Eric Allen hits him before the ball gets there.
Pass interference, 21 defense, first down.
The timing of the route. Eric's inside. He's looking in the backfield. You see the hit. That doesn't really give you a very good angle of it. But believe me, he bumped him before the ball got there.
Can't get there early. Another first down for Seattle, trying to get back in it. Kitna again with good time. That was intended for Mays, and Woodson was right there. He had a better shot at it.
That's a terrific call by Mike Holmgren, and the execution was terrific, except that Charles Woodson has incredible makeup speed. This ball's a completion, I believe, if there's anybody else but he or maybe Sean Springs at corner. Watch him go back. He freezes a second. He sees the route. Now look at him turn the jets on. He has, you know, he has similar moves to a guy in Dallas by the name of Deion Sanders. He moves with the fluidness with the turning of his hips to go after the ball.
Yeah, but he has good toes. Getting a draw to Waters. Ricky Waters first down to the 30, about a yard shy of a first down.
You know, you got to believe the draw was set up by that play action pass, the one they just ran before. But, you know, when you look back to Charles Woodson for just a second, Tim Brown said about him, one thing about Charles Woodson is this. He plays defense like he is on offense. And he says that when he saw that fake, he took off. He knew where the ball was going.
The great corners always seem to believe that when it's in the air, it's their ball. Waters trying for the first down, has it, and more. Beekert knocks him out at the 25. So Waters running well against the best run defense in the league. Here's Kitnon trying to test that great corner, Charles Woodson.
I don't think you can rule out going to his side. You just need to be right when you go to his side. You need to be on time, and the ball needs to be where you want to throw it. Coach talks about it all the time. Put the ball where you want to. And so you're going to go his way. Be on time and be sure of what you saw. Don't see a ghost, because he's good enough to be able to bait you into some things and make up for it athletically.
Kitna throws this one about 5 yards behind Sean Dawkins, who was running it inside.
You know, I like the fact that he said, you know, make sure where you're throwing the ball. You don't see any ghosts. But the problem is when you don't have time because of that rush of that defensive line, that keeps you from going over there because you don't have the time to look.
When I hear him talk like that, I hear respect, but not fear.
Fear, right.
I'm not afraid to throw because you got to believe your offensive guys can beat him. And Willie Shaw, in this case, with second down long, should come after him. If you lay back in zone, you're going to give him a chance to complete it.
Draw play, Waters. Not much this time. Ricky got to the 21-yard line. He is the third active rusher in the National Football League. Over 8,100 yards rushing in his career. And doesn't look like he's slowed down a bit.
You were in the locker room with us on Friday. Joe and I walked up to Ricky, and Ricky obviously went to Notre Dame. Joe says, hey, what about this game this weekend? Ricky said, I think, you know, we got a pretty good chance. Joe said, no, I'm talking about the Oklahoma and Notre Dame game.
And he said again, I think we have a pretty good chance.
We have a pretty good chance. Way to go.
3rd and 7. 44 yards rushing for Waters. Pressure. Kitna gets away. Throws back against the green. Strong, wide open. Reggie Brown. Touchdown. Kitna with great vision found his fullback Reggie Brown.
Both Rich Gannon and John Kitna have that intangible of mobility. It's his mobility that sets up, and then he knows where everybody is. Max Strong is out into the flat. Now he squares up and becomes a runner. Catches it at the 15. Nice block by Mike Pritchett. Got some help down the field.
Seahawks will go for the point after. Remember, on their previous touchdown, they went for 2 and didn't make it. So now they're down 21-16 with 6:46 to go, third quarter. (21-16). Raiders with the lead, and Martin Kitna able to celebrate as his son throws a touchdown strike.
You look just like his dad.
Yes, he
Dad
does.
has hair.
Whoa!
He wound up with that kind of a haircut. Lost a the one-on-one basketball game.
Look at him, really. I mean, no question about that guy.
21-16 and 66,000 here in the King Gomer back in it. Kaufman. Touchdown at the 18-yard line. James Logan, the backup linebacker, made the tackle on special teams. 37 to go in the quarter. Rich Gannon will have the ball when we come back. Holmgren and his Seahawks have re-energized this crowd of 66,000 as their ball club has pulled to within 5. And they're on their feet. Wheatley runs into a wall, and there's a flag down. Anthony Simmons and Chad Brown hustled to the hole and stuffed it.
Chad Brown and Anthony Simmons made the last tackle.
And the noise had a lot to do with that, didn't it, Joe?
It's a direct result of the noise that is built up in this stadium and was a major concern.
Illegal formation. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage on the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Was a major concern for John Gruden. How would his team be able to communicate with all this noise? You can practice it as much as you want, but you can't get it this loud.
It's deafening.
What?
Gannon wide of Jet. And they are going to get louder on every play.
Tim Brown is really upset. He thinks he is being held coming off the line of scrimmage. I mean, he was really adamant about it. Here comes Tim Brown back to the inside, getting away from Spring. Now, oh, but he gets hammered.
Well, you can hit him within 5 yards.
Not when the ball is in the air.
Yeah, but it wasn't going to him.
Excuse me? It wasn't going to him. That was Anthony Simmons that laid him out.
Brown. That's why Rich Gannon is so important to this team. I mean, the pressure just mounting and mounting and mounting. He goes back, sits in the pocket, and throws a strike.
What you want to do is you want to put Tim Brown in places where Sean Springs can't get to him. So you put him in the slot so Jay Bellamy has to cover. You run Tyrone Wheatley out in the flat. You got speed outside. He's got a soft little area to get into. Again, a terrific job of protecting the quarterback by that offensive line of the Raiders.
22 yards and a first down. Wheatley back in. Hasn't had much room in the second half, and they made some alterations in that Seattle defense and closed down those holes.
They make some adjustments at halftime. A lot of coaches say, we don't make adjustments, we change some things up. They make adjustments at halftime. And one thing that Wheatley did that time that he did not do at all in the first half was stutter step and try to pick his way. You've got to, if you see a hole, you've got to go to it. Not with the speed that Seattle has on defense.
I think that was the problem. There was no hole. 2nd and 10. Gannon in trouble. Daniels hit in first, and Riddick Parker got the sack. And you don't think the noise of this crowd fires up that defense?
Well, we talked about the 4 main guys on defense for these teams. On Seattle's front, you got Cortez Kennedy and Sam Adams. Now you bring in Riddick Parker, and you bring in the front. Now look at the speed of Daniels coming around. He just doesn't quit. He doesn't stop. When we talk about the tackles on these teams, it isn't just the starting tackles. The backups do an excellent job as well.
The second sack for the Seattle defense. 3rd and 13. And Rich Gannon uses a timeout.
The play clock won. He had to take it.
Playoffs. 3rd and 13 Raiders. Gannon dumps it off. The catch is made, but short of a first down. Kaufman made the grab. Check it, Randy Jordan. Let's go to Solomon Wilcox.
Yeah, Mike, after games in Green Bay and Minnesota, Raiders have really grown accustomed to dealing with the loud crowds. In fact, they prepare the team, John Gruden does, by having his offense sort of lean into the quarterback to try to listen during the week of practice. Now, it's very tough to assimilate the loud crowd here in the Kingdom on that timeout by Rich Gannon. Well, the players could not hear the check at the line of scrimmage, so they were forced to make the timeout. Mike?
All right, Solomon, thanks. Charlie Rogers from the 15. Somehow stays on his feet. Rogers. The punter to beat. And Arago saves the touchdown. A 69-yard return. Last week he had a 94-yarder for a touchdown. He's #1 in the NFL.
Well, you always talk about speed. We're going to show you some speed, folks. Once it breaks out, watch the speed now. Now he turns it on. Aragouz does a great job of saving the touchdown.
Pete Rodriguez, the special teams coach, the only holdover after Mike Holmgren took over. He's one of the best in the business.
And Gruden said to us yesterday, Rodriguez will have something.
I think you come out here and you try and get right now.
Getting a fumble to snap and has to cover it up, and Ricky Waters is upset.
This has been a problem for Kitna. In almost every game, he's fumbled the exchange from center. In the haste to try and get away, you have to understand that when Kevin Glover has to reach block, he has to stay with him longer. Any fumble like
rooting her husband on. Kitna got it to Mealy. He dropped the ball. It's the Mets if they win tonight. Kitna in the to Waters. fighting for yardage, but he's well shy of the first down. What a letdown it will be for Seattle to have to settle for a field goal.
Well, I'm close, so if it goes through, it's pretty darn good. You got some points.
Almost all of Peterson's go through. He's a terrific kicker. He's hit from 28 and 29, and the Seattle Seahawks have closed the gap to only 2 points. 58 to go, third quarter from the Kingdome in Seattle. Mike Patrick, Joe Theismann, Paul McGuire, Solomon Wilcots. Glad you could join us for a great one on Sunday night. Randy Jordan from the 4. Across the 30. Coming up next, Sports Center. Dan Kaufman in at running back. Kaufman on the toss to the 49. That was almost an option. It worked the same way.
You know, this isn't fair to Philip Daniels. It's not.
Ball at the 49, first down. Wheatley is back in. Wheatley. And he is cut down immediately by Chad Brown. They have really shut him down in the second half. One of 5 interceptions they had against the Steelers. Ganon on 2nd and 9 to Dudley, and the big tight end has a first down at the Seahawks 40. And that will be the last play of the third quarter. And this is quite an answer by the Oakland Raiders as they have taken the kickoff and marched very near scoring territory after their lead was cut to 2.
First, Jack.
Okay. Not only are they making it happen, but we have a chance to go see one of the best in football next week up in Lambeau. Reggie White's jersey's going to be retired. They've had a week's rest. Brett Favre gets to re-energize himself against the Tampa Bay Bucs. Should be impressive.
Jet was wide open by 10 yards, and Ganon overthrew it. Boy, and John Gruden knew he called that play. He knew he had it from the get-go.
This had to fly out of his hand because Ganon had Jet downfield 10 yards.
Tough to overthrow Jet. He's got world-class speed.
Well, he does, but look at Ganon. He sees him, and I mean, he just launches the ball. Look at Jet. He's down the middle of the field. There's no one within 10 yards of him.
It's been an easy touchdown. Wheatley. Boy, there's nothing there in the second half. They are just stuffing the running game. Wheatley had such an outstanding performance in the first half. And those defensive adjustments have really closed down the running.
Cortez Kennedy and Sam Adams. Just look at what they do in the middle of the field. They just stuff everything, and there's just no place to go for Wheatley.
Well, we talked about the other guys off the double team making plays. The linebackers are filling those well now.
Both of those tackles were double teamed on the last play. Here comes the blitz. Ganon, Dudley can't get it. It's intercepted, picked off by Darrell Williams. They had 5 last week for Williams. That's his 2nd of the season, his 27th career, and a poor throw by Ganon. And it didn't look like a whole heck of a lot of effort by Ricky Dudley to go get it.
Ricky Dudley over the left part of your screen. He puts the move on, trying to get upfield. That's on Kerry Joseph. Good job by Darrell Williams, just backing it up. Pressure from Sam Adams forces him to hang it up. We saw John Kitna have to hang one up because of the tackle by Russell Maryland earlier.
Oh, my apologies to Dudley. It didn't look like he had a chance to get back for that ball no matter what he did. Waters hit just as he got to the line of scrimmage. The Raiders defense has really stepped it up in the second half. That was Lance Johnstone. The Reds have just taken a 5-0 lead as Greg Vaughn hits a 3-run homer. Keep in mind they have to win to force a playoff tomorrow against the Mets, up 5-0. We will have that ball game if it's played, and the time yet to be determined. Kitna with time and throws intended for Fourier. Beekert is all over it. Tremendous coverage by Beekert, who is known for his run-playing ability.
And a better job by that Seahawk offensive line. That time Kitna had a chance to look around a little bit and try and get the ball to his tight end.
If the Seahawks don't win this game, they're going to look at a couple of squandered breaks. The 69-yard punt return that they couldn't convert into a touchdown, and this interception, they haven't done anything with that yet. Kitna steps up in the pocket. Pritchard wide open. Falls at the 48. Strike by Kitna.
Well, you know, the key to your last statement was yet. You haven't done anything with it yet. Well, they just did. Pritchard going across the middle, and this is with blocking up front. When Kitna has this much time to throw the ball, watch how long this route is. Here comes Pritchard across the middle. Nobody there. Joe, you were talking about the middle of the field being open. This thing was wide open.
Pritchard had an arthroscopic procedure on his knee in the preseason. Missed the opener. Waters. Love to watch him run down to the 48-yard line. That high-stepping knee action.
Not only that, Mike, Ricky Waters has become a much more disciplined runner. Earlier in his career, if things looked a little bit clogged up the middle, he'd try and bounce it outside. Now you see him very content to pick up 3 yards. He presses the hole so much better, which means that he doesn't try and work outside. He's going to follow his blockers and get everything he can.
He passed Larry Zonka last week for number 20 all-time in the NFL.
I just love his attitude. You know, when you talk to him, it's all positive.
Yep. He has really matured as a person. Kitna with time. Strike for a first down to Dawkins. That time he beat Woodson. What did Kitna say? Make sure you throw it where you want to throw it if you go to Woodson.
And that time he threw it inside, and he threw it inside the numbers. That's really where I think you can have success and where this offense is designed. Dawkins works up top. Derek Mays does an excellent job of running off the inside cover man so Dawkins can come in behind him. See, I don't think Charles Woodson should play Sean Dawkins off and give him room. Stop him in the line of scrimmage if you can.
Dawkins is that big guy that they wanted at receiver at 6'4", and Beekert just yanks Waters down.
Well, you know, you mentioned a couple plays ago about Beekert making the play and what a great run stopper he is. Well, this is a classic example of it. Everybody else took out the interference. Everybody did. And your job, number 54, Mr. Beekert, is to knock down Ricky Waters. Watch this hit. Now, head to head, and down you go.
I mean, he made it look like a rodeo event. Beekert out of Colorado, the #1 tackler on this ball club coming into the game. Waters again has a hole this time and takes a shot from Harvey as he got inside the 28-yard line.
Mike Holmgren really taking the approach. He wants to throw when the Raiders expect him to run, and he wants to run when they expect him to throw. This could be a situation where you say to yourself, 3rd and 7, you got to throw the football. Might be one where he tries to pop one out here to Ricky, let him run for the first down.
Done pretty well with the screens so far in this situation, too.
So Joe's saying they're either going to run or pass.
No, I'm thinking they're going to run.
Or pass.
Kitna throws to the outside, knocked away and incomplete. Tremendous defense by Darian Gordon. What a bonus to have a guy who had 2 interceptions in the Super Bowl last year as a starting corner to be the 3rd corner in your secondary.
Darian Gordon stays right in Mike Pritchard's back pocket. Ball's a well-thrown ball. Does a good job continuing to try and battle and finally swats it out of bounds.
Seattle can still take the lead. Peterson, who's been true from 28 and 29, will try from 45. It would be his longest of the season. Right down the pipe. And the Seattle Seahawks have come from behind to take the lead. Football is brought to you by Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never lets you down, make it a Bud Light. By United Airlines. United is rising. by Lee Dungarees. Can't bust them. And by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be. And this is where we want to be. It has been a beautiful ball game. The Seahawks have regained the lead 22-21 and set to kick off to the Raiders. Randy Jordan to the 25. ESPN's College Game Day, Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, live from Michigan State. And at 7, off to the SEC. 8th-ranked Georgia heads to Knoxville to take on Tennessee. On ESPN2, we start at 5. Number 20, Wisconsin at Minnesota. And then at 8 to the ACC, the Clemson Tigers against North Carolina State. The momentum has clearly been taken away from the Raiders. Wheatley gained 91 yards in the first half. He has gained 6 in the second. Kaufman in at tailback. Ganon to Kaufman. Didn't have a chance as Simmons, the second-year middle linebacker out of Clemson, wrapped him up.
You know, we are seeing such, we talked about the tackles and the defensive linemen and defensive ends, but we are seeing such great linebacker play on both sides.
And in talking to Jim Lynn, the linebacker coach, because these offenses are so similar, because of Gruden and Holmgren's backgrounds, the identification of formations for the linebackers is easier, I should say, so they can pick out where people are supposed to be as they come out of the backfield.
Crockett is with Ritchie on 2nd and 7. Ganon scrambles and gets out of bounds safely, a couple of yards shy of a first down.
Well, you know, Tim Brown, they've been putting him in motion to get away from Springs. Well, this time they did it, and Springs stayed with him. Now look at Gannon's looking for him. Springs is holding, going across the middle. Williams on jet. He's cut.
I think that's one of the adjustments they made at halftime. Instead of letting Tim Brown go in motion and Sean Springs letting him go, what they've decided to do as defense is they're going to go ahead and play a little more man-to-man. Sean Springs, you now own Tim Brown.
It's unbelievable in here. 3rd and 3. Blitz. Caught by Dudley. Ricky Dudley to the Seattle 47-yard line. Kerry Joseph had to make the tackle. It's a gain of 21.
Rich Ganon just stays right in the pocket. You see him set up. Here comes the blitz from outside. Bellamy comes in, running free. Doesn't matter. Ricky Dudley, big target, makes the play and now hurdles Darrell Williams to try and pick up a few extra yards.
It was actually Kerry Joseph who missed the swat at the football. Wheatley gets what he can inside the Seattle 45-yard line. Darren Smith made the stop.
I tell you, the adjustments these two teams have made at halftime is what they have done is from tackle to tackle. They have shut it down.
And this guy right here, Tyrone Wheatley, he almost pops the collarbone out last week late in the game. Jim Lynn's linebackers have just been laying wood right on top of him, and Tyrone Wheatley continues to pound.
Wheatley, 20 carries, 100 yards. Exploded on him.
I'm going to tell you what, with Seattle and their adjustments, what they've made, pass defense especially, they're putting linebackers on the backs, and when they come out, you close. And I'll tell you what, Darren Smith, you talk about closing. Napoleon Kaufman is coming out into the flat, and he just unloads, turn, bang. That's head-to-head.
Randy Jordan comes in on 3rd and 4. Ganon had that one tipped. Cortez Kennedy was right in on him.
Rich Gannon and Tim Brown cannot believe that there is a flag. This is what the linebackers have also done, Paul, besides jumping the backs, is they are not going to let Tim Brown run scot-free through the middle of that defense. They're going to get in his way. They're going to try and give him a shot with an elbow, whatever they can, to throw off the timing of the route.
Araguz will punt to Rogers. Nice high floater by Araguz. Rogers signals fair catch. He goes down to the ground to make sure he has it. A 25-yard kick, but no return. 6:20 to go in the game. First place in the AFC West on the line. The only doom they've thought about in recent years has been their own here in the Kingdome, but not tonight. Not under Mike Holmgren. They are going after the Raiders. Up by 1, 22-21. Seattle ball at its own 15. Ricky Waters picks up about 4. That will give them 57 yards rushing. And statistically, that's a pretty good night. The Raiders came in #1 against the run at 53 a game.
The object of what Mike Holmgren wants to do now is he wants to get himself into manageable third downs against Willie Shaw's defense. What I mean by manageable, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, where he has a lot of options to try and pick up the first down. They can't make a big mistake here and get like a holding penalty.
Waters across the 20 to about the 21. We've been showing you Willie Shaw all night long, and I'll tell you one thing. If Willie Shaw doesn't have a head coaching job in the NFL next year, there should be an investigation.
Now, he interviewed for 3 last year, and everybody said he finished 2nd. I don't think John Gruden is going to have the luxury of having Willie Shaw around very long. You're absolutely right, Mike. He has done a fabulous job turning this Raider defense around.
And he's got a great personality. He's a very bright guy.
And he's a wonderful teacher.
And he said all the interviews were very positive.
Yeah, he said he enjoyed the experience. 3rd and 5. Getting the goal for it. Oh, man, is he drilled by Grady Jackson. The protection was really good. He couldn't find anybody, and Jackson, who backs up Russell. 3rd and 5. Getting the throw for it. Oh, man, is he drilled by Grady Jackson. The protection was really good. He couldn't find anybody, and Jackson, who backs up Russell, Maryland, just dusted.
Well, the protection was pretty good for a while, but Kitna held on to this thing too long because there was no place to throw the ball. Watch number 90. He just goes right through and knocks him down. Brian Habib was hurt earlier in the game. He may still be hurt.
Yeah, Arian Gordon waits at his own 41 for Fiegel's punt.
What was that?
Everybody's pointing at everybody else. It looked like Jermaine Williams moved. You see the officials shaking their head. It's like they're disagreeing with each other on who moved first.
Now, it doesn't matter. 5-yard penalty is not going to make a difference. Not against the Raiders. They're still going to have to punt it.
Encroachment.
It makes a difference to him.
5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
You tell me you don't think it makes a difference to him? Look at him.
I can tell you right now what he's thinking about is the first play. He's thinking about the first play he wants to call, and it just hang on to it, Darian. That's the important thing.
Eagles, pretty punt. Gordon signals fair catch and makes it at the 36. A 46-yard kick, no return. Rich Gannon has 4:31 left. He is down by 1 point. Reds win tonight, and they are up 5-0 in the 4th. ESPN will have exclusive coverage tomorrow. The Mets at Cincinnati to decide the wild card. It will be 7 o'clock on ESPN. They go to the ground game with Kaufman, and he is stuffed in the middle.
Oakland have to throw the football. Again, I'll emphasize it again. John Gruden is going to have to get the ball, possibly to a Tim Brown crossing, or maybe a James Jett, who's been silenced other than the early part of the ball game. But I think you throw the ball, you match up against the linebackers, you try and pick up 5-6 yards.
Approaching the 4-minute mark. Brigham, a tight end flank to the right. Gannon sidearms it, intended for Brigham. He was covered perfectly by Chad Brown. And Richie just lucky to get away with that one.
Was the heat on Michael Sinclair, Riddick Parker, 97. I mean, Michael Sinclair, you know, 2nd down and 10. All he's doing is he's heading for the quarterback. They have no run responsibility whatsoever. Just go.
Tell you what, Lincoln Kennedy has done a heck of a job on him.
Well, look at this. Look at Sinclair. Around the outside, he beats him. He makes Ganon throw the ball early.
3rd and 10. Blitz. Incomplete. Knocked down by Darrell Williams.
What an excellent job of reading the quarterback's eyes and keeping an eye on the receiver. Keep everybody in front of you if you're going to be a safety. Darrell Williams sees Rich Gannon work. He sees the receiver in front of him, slides around, and knocks it down with one hand.
Tell you what, the intensity here is just incredible. The Raiders have 2 timeouts left. Now they'll have to get the ball back, and quickly. Rodgers at the 15. Buried at the 21. 7-yard return, 49-yard kick. 3:37 to go in the ball game. Seattle with the football and a 1-point lead. Friggin' Rich Eisen standing by to bring you Sports Center. They'll bring you up to date on everything. Baseball, football, and all the rest. Seattle trying to work on the clock. Waters cut down by Johnstone. Let's go to Solomon Wilcots.
Yeah, Mike, after that last offensive series, Mike Holmgren came over to talk to his offensive line. He said a few words, then turned and walked away. Now, I couldn't quite hear what he said, but I'm sure he said to them, do not let that freight train named Grady Jackson hit my quarterback again.
Yeah, there were no crossing bars down on either.
There it goes, Solomon.
Al Davis has seen his team struggle in recent years. They've gotten a lot better under John Gruden. Can they pull this one out? Oh. Raiders may have jumped. Waters gets a yard, flags down everywhere. This could cost them 5. James Harris looked like he was in the neutral zone.
Nice job by Kitna using the hard count. These are the type of situations you save it for in a game.
Offside, 93 defense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
You know the defense is all geared up. They're going to try and come off the ball hard. Kitna gets up. He gives Willie Shaw's defense a little hard count, and Harris just jumps offside. There's the end, 93. You see with the little hut. You hesitate, you go, you catch him a little off, and you get yourself a cheap 5. Willie had hair, he'd start pulling it out.
2nd and 3. Waters. He got away from Johnstone, but K.D. Williams, who was handling baggage at the Tampa airport a year ago and is now a starting linebacker, made that tackle.
The pressure of this offense, the mobility of a quarterback is what creates the biggest problem for defenses in this situation. If Kitna doesn't have the receiver he wants, he should be able to take off and run to try and pick up the yardage. We've seen Rich Gannon do it on occasion. Kitna's moved around well, but he can't just sit in that pocket and hope somebody's going to get open.
A 1st down here would force the Raiders to use their timeouts. Now Kitna is going to call his own timeout. Now each team has 2 remaining.
One of the things that you take a look at here with Kitna and the Seattle Seahawks and Mike Holmgren, what he's saying to him is, look, let's not make a mistake. Don't go. If you're going to go back and throw and there's nothing open, throw it away. If you're going to run the ball, we may pick up 4 yards. If we don't, as good as our defense is playing, we're fine, and we've got the lead.
John Gruden in his 2nd year, and if you don't think he has made a difference, 96 and 97 in games decided by 3 points or less, they won 10. Under John Gruden, they are 5-1.
And there's a guy in his last 34 games as coach or coordinator has worked with 8 different quarterbacks. And he's got to be thrilled with the one he has now, and hopefully be there a long time with him. Rich.
Didn't you think that was a great sign for Kitna coming off the field, though, with a smile on his face in this situation?
That
shows you something.
Totally relaxed and comfortable with where he is.
3rd and 3. Waters on the draw. Second effort got him the first down.
Run when they think you're going to throw when they think you're going to run.
And when you run, give it to Ricky Waters. He got that 3 yards on his own. First down, 1:58 to go. And it's a 1-point lead for the Seahawks. Oakland has 2 timeouts. If Seattle does not get a first down, they could get the ball back with about 45 seconds to go.
Paul made a great point while we were in break. He said, boy, how important was that offsides for the opportunity for the Seahawks and the problem for the Raiders.
Only one wide receiver. Waters will hang on to the ball. Takes it outside. What a tackle by K.D. Williams. What tremendous technique.
Well, that's what you get from handling baggage. Now, you know how to pick it, grab the handle, pick it up, and then set it down on the cart. K.D. Williams, this is just a great tackle. I'll tell you, they know they're going to try to run the ball. Everybody's up on the line of scrimmage. Watch, get underneath. Now pick him up. Classic.
This kid played 3 years in the Canadian Football League. Then in '97, he spent the summer with NFL Europe. Then he didn't get a shot with anybody. The Cowboys picked him up. They cut him. He goes to Kansas City on the practice squad. They cut him. He's back handling luggage at the Tampa airport. Somebody recommends him to come out for training camp. Not only does he make the team, he's the starting wrong side linebacker. The biggest play of his career right there. Movement again. Who's guilty this time? And it looked like Itulamili, the tight end.
Start. 79 offense. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
Going to call it on Grant Williams, the tackle.
Doesn't make this one here really doesn't make any difference because because the clock had already been stopped. All they want to do is get this clock started.
Oh yeah, but it adds a whole lot of yards for you to try and pick up running the football, and it almost guarantees that the Raiders get a shot at having the ball in their offense's hand again.
Waters stays on his feet. Ricky Waters finally cut down at the 35-yard line. That's going to be about 8. And the Raiders, are they going to spend that second timeout, or are they waiting? Now they use it with 1:42 to go. These overhead shots provided by the Southwest Airlines aerial cam high above Seattle, Washington for ESPN Sunday Night Football. The last year for the Kingdome. They will tear it down, build a new stadium on its place, and in the next 2 years, they will play at the University. Waters got to stay in bounds, and he does. Smart veteran play by Waters, and now they can't stop the clock.
That's the difference in that 5-yard penalty, though. The Raiders now get an opportunity to get their hands back on the ball with about probably 50 seconds to go, roughly.
Do you come after the kicker?
No.
No.
Eagles is hoping you're right.
Hush, hush.
Darian Gordon,
and
the all-time leader in punt returns with an average of almost 13 yards a return.
And if you're a returner, you fair catch this because you don't want any more time running off the clock.
Well, they're going to call timeout at 1 second. Seattle, they still.
Here they come. And he got it out. You're right, Paul. That was his job, and he crushed it. Gordon, no blockers. Nowhere to go. 54-yard punt by Fiegels under pressure.
The clock was at 58 seconds. Darian Gordon, by running around and trying to make a play, took 13 seconds off the clock.
Pete Rodriguez breathes a sigh of release. They nearly got to Fiegels.
Well, look how quick Fiegels got this ball off. I mean, this was almost blocked, but he never got quite. That was Smith, number 53, trying to get there.
Now this place will get loud.
45 seconds, no timeouts for the Raiders. Ganon over the middle. It's complete out to the 43-yard line to Mickens.
You can't lay back in a defense. You've got to put pressure on Rich Ganon with more than 3 people. He'll spike it here. That's what you do. 28 seconds. It took around 20 seconds for him to get that off. 18 seconds for him to get that off. Theoretically, now you look at that. If they allow another big completion in the middle, it's going to be down around the 30-yard line. He spikes it again. He's going to have a shot at one more play before they have to bring the kicking team out.
Joe, I totally agree with you, because with Rich Ganon, you've got 12 years of experience, and all he's doing is stepping up when the defense goes by.
I think you go back in the middle of the football field to a Terry Mickens who's in the slot.
But they have no timeouts left.
That's okay. 28 seconds is plenty of time.
Kaufman on the screen. Now they got to hustle back to the line of scrimmage.
That's a great play by Darren Smith, the linebacker, not allowing him to get out of bounds.
3rd down, and they spike it. Now it will be 4th.
What I think you do now, obviously you have to get the 1st down, okay? But now, you don't have to throw the ball outside. What you want to do is you can throw a crossing pattern, but you try and hit the receiver somewhere near the numbers so that he can bounce.
Keep in mind, the officials, if you are hit inbounds and you're not going forward, they will say you're inbounds and the clock runs. Here it is, 4th and 4. Ganon's got the 1st down. Did he save any time? He saved 4 seconds.
He had Kenny Shedd running across the middle of the football field with exactly what he wanted in an opportunity and could not get him the ball.
Well, they're going to try the field goal.
Husted has the leg. He's kicked a career-long 57.
Kenny Shedd, that's one he's going to look at on the film, and he's going to say, boy, if I could have just hung a little bit longer in the pocket.
This will be 61 yards. It's either this or a Hail Mary. Husted to win it from 61. He's got a chance. Oh, Mike Holmgren has his first win at home as a head coach. The teacher tonight beats the pupil, John Gruden. Husted gave it a ride. John Kitna with a win at home in front of his wife, his parents, and all his fans. And the Seattle Seahawks have taken 1st place in the AFC West as they go to 3-1. Cortez Kennedy knows the clock is ticking. Tonight was a big help.
And this offense is going to get nothing but better. Mike Holmgren's guys are learning how to win, and they're learning how to run the offense.
Our final score, the Seahawks 22.